welcome to our channel. We hope this is something different. Hope it's something fun for you. We're going to do a lot of reviews for a lot of outdoor equipment. We're going to primarily focus this first video on a review of a 13 fishing Omen Black Gen 3. This is a 7'3" medium heavy. Some updates we'll talk about, some things we like about it, some things that are questionable. Still a great rod. We have fished it, so it's not really an unboxing. I'm Matt. This is
Carter.
Welcome. Let's get into it. First off, we're going to go over the rod. We're going to talk about its ratings. We're going to talk about the construction, some key features of the rod, which make it a really good value in the industry today. There's lots of options, lots of rod companies out there making really high quality rods. This is 7'3", medium heavy, and this year it's an extra fast. So last year's Gen 3, or the previous generation, had 30-ton Toray graphite, and it had a solid handle. I have had that rod for a short time, but when this one came out and it was on pre-order, I think this was revealed at iCast. This one has what they call a Toray 36-ton graphite. It's going to be a little bit lighter. I'm not a rod builder. I don't know all the definitions for it, but I believe this rod came from the Muse line. I don't believe that 13 Fishing would go out and construct a whole new blank. So I don't know the manufacturer they get this from. Anyway, the components on it that I really like are these Alps S6 guides. This is a stainless steel guide with zirconium inserts, or zirconia, however you want to label it. Split grip this year. Portuguese cork. I believe this is an upgrade over the Gen 2. This is a 4 grade. Previous gen had a 2 or a 3 grade, which I don't know if I could tell the difference. They also went to cork on this lock ring. Previous generation had EVA foam of some kind. They're using this Evolve reel seat. I don't know if that's a proprietary seat from them, but here is the one thing that I do question in this construction, and it's this sleeve that this rod blank fits into. So this is not a blank through construction, what you would call a blank through complete one-piece handle. Does that affect the sensitivity? I don't know. I can't speak for that. Not quite sure. I've had some people say, or seen some reviews, that it creates a weak spot when you sleeve it into something that's a larger diameter, and they use a little ring here to kind of hide that. They do have a nice graphite looking sleeve over this. They call this a snaggletooth, some kind of hook keeper. I don't know if that's the spot I would select for it. Seems to work okay. Anyway, I have fished this. I fished this with a light Carolina rig. We're talking 15 to 20 foot, even some 20-foot depths. And what I was using here was just a offset worm hook with a 1/2 ounce tungsten weight and a bead and a worm. I did catch fish on it. I was using the Phantom reel. This is a very popular reel. You can see all kinds of reviews on this. But what we're going to today is we're going to try this Phantom X. This is a 7.6. It has centrifugal brakes, whereas the Phantom is a 7-0 gear ratio, and it has the internal centrifugal brake, and it also has the mag adjustment on the outside for finesse applications, or if you're changing lures or worms or something like that, you can make quick adjustments. Warranty. This rod is $140 retail. This came from Tackle Warehouse. Now I have fished this, so I can speak for it. It is light. It is lighter than the Gen 2. It's a little bit more sensitive. They call this an extra fast. The tip still has, being a 7.3, a lot of give to it. I'm not going to get into, how different manufacturers rate their rods. I know that Dobbin's medium heavy fasts are maybe most companies medium fast. There is a lot of soft tip in the Dobbins rods. This one being an extra fast, I don't notice a lot of difference even between this and Shimano. I think Shimano fast rods pretty much feel like a lot of these extra fasts for most of the offshore manufacturers. We do have an SLX behind me we're going to review here shortly. There's a couple other rods that we're talking about in the Shimano line, and that would be like an X-Age. Some people will even go up into the X-Brides and the Zodius. You're getting up in the $200 price range to $250. So from a price point standpoint, I think this is a good rod blank. It is sensitive, it is light, it has great guide components. My only complaint would be the reel seat system and the handle. Other than that, it fished great. I have caught some small fish on it. Nothing big to test the backbone. Most of them 1.5 to 2 pound smallmouth. And we'll get this spooled up here. Okay, we're spooled up. We're going to lock down the reel, and we're going to talk about why I have an issue with this reel seat. Yes, it looks nice, it's all shiny and everything, but I don't know why at this price point we're not using Fuji reel seats. That's my complaint. And what I'm going to show you here is an issue I have with the lock ring and how it affects the base of the reel. So when you lock this in, you go up here to the, instead of having a hood, this whole lock ring spins, and it's spinning with friction against the base of the reel. So you can, it's tight, and there's a lot of tension there in order to get it set down, which is different than a Fuji reel seat or even a Shimano reel seat. So I'm going to show you the difference here. When you lock a reel down on this type of a reel, this hood stays in place and then the lock ring turns. So you're not spinning something on the base of the reel. These lightweight graphite carbon type bodies may or may not take that repeatedly. I don't move my reels around a lot. That might not be an issue. That's just a complaint I have. And this type of reel seat also does not have that blank through construction. It's got a sleeve over it. You can eliminate a lot of that with a different type of reel seat. I'm not saying Fuji's the answer, but I would think that the engineers could come up with something better. Okay, here we go with the guides. This is a 7.3 medium heavy, extra fast as I've said. So my guess is you're gonna probably be fishing a little bit heavier line. I'm spooled up with some 40-pound braid. The size of these guides is quite small, and I don't know if they call these a micro guide. I'm not a huge fan of micro guides. That's just me. They can make the guides a little bit bigger. They'll pass bigger line, bigger leader. This is a 15-pound leader. You're gonna have a knot going through those. I prefer a little bit larger, semi-micro type of a guide. That's just me. I think they cast a little bit better. You don't have the lines, the knots slap through the guides. But other than that, this rod has fished well. We're gonna have a review coming back with some fishing time and how it compares to some other rods like a Sierra Dobbins. I also have behind me an SLX Shimano that was picked up at a local sporting goods store at a really phenomenal price. They had these running at half price. It's a 7-foot medium heavy fast. These tips do feel a little on the extra fast side to me of where they bend. The front part of this rod is actually pretty stiff. I would almost consider this an extra fast, but it's a 7-foot versus a 7.3. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. We'll come back to you with some actual fishing content on the river. Thanks, appreciate it, God bless.